This is Barbershop Break Room's top 25 receivers based on last year's performance and this year's potential. But we're going to exclude rookies.
And we did this with all four of us. Matt, Jordan, myself, and Dante. We each had our own top 25.
Yep.
And basically calculated each person where they were ranked and combined it to the average placing for the most part.
Used mean, median, and mode to get there.
Yeah, thank you. Quick math. Number 1, Justin Jefferson as the number 1 receiver in the NFL.
Why you hit the Donald Trump in the number 1?
I personally had Tyreek Hill number 1. Everyone else, including Matt, I think had Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I had Jefferson number 1.
The only reason I had Tyreek Hill is because he led the NFL in touchdowns and receiving yards. That was really my explanation into it.
Yeah, I had Justin Jefferson. Last year he was hurt. That's, I think, why he wasn't a leader in a lot of categories. But we saw him 2 years ago. We saw him when he came back. The eye test, he's good. The best receiver in the NFL. Yeah. Like, that injury isn't going to drop him a spot for me.
Yeah. I actually had him 1 too, based off of if you look at his numbers, what he did in that stint of games that he actually played with the quarterbacks he had. He's still number 1 for me because look at what he did.
Oh, yeah, Kirk wasn't there.
Exactly. Kirk was there for maybe 2 games with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So look at his numbers, look at his touchdowns, his yards, and look at who he had thrown to him. Yeah, that guy's still number 1 for me. Number
2, who I had at number 1, is Tyreek Hill, is going to be our number 2 wide receiver. I had Justin Jefferson here. So, like you guys said, one of the most skilled wide receivers in the NFL. If it wasn't for his injury, he would have been number 1.
Yeah.
So Jefferson at 2 for me, Tyreek Hill's at 2 for all of us.
I like it. No argument with number 2.
I have Tyreek Hill at 2, so yeah, I believe you did too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Matt, I believe I have his list here too. He had Tyreek as number 2 as well on his list. Number 3, CeeDee Lamb hit the number 3 mark for us, and CeeDee Lamb was number 3 for me as well. Argument here is strictly stats.
Look at what he did.
Dude was a dog.
Look at what he did. Look at Tyreek's numbers and then look at CeeDee's. He's not far behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's.
Do we really have to go around? I think we all had him there, right?
I think everyone had CeeDee Lamb at 3, I believe.
Real quick, do you remember
the video?
How long ago it was?
The video we made?
Do you remember what he said about
Jordan?
You remember CeeDee Lamb? I went back to that.
He hates CeeDee Lamb.
He hates the Cowboys. Yeah, it's like
Cowboys.
Your Cowboys is my Boston.
Yeah.
It don't matter how good they are. You go find a reason to hate. I don't care. Jason Tatum, I hate him. I don't care.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to drop his name, but I believe that the reason I hate the Cowboys is one kid I went to high school with, the only Cowboys fan I know. And he was like the most obnoxious annoying person about the Cowboys. Super cool dude. Like if he sees this for whatever reason, I don't hate you. I just hate your fandom. Like when I open your Snapchat story, I'm like, dude, the fucking Cowboys, bro. Come on.
Just block him.
No. Yeah. He's a cool dude.
CeeDee Lamb for me, I put on here on my thing, although he had a better QB than the other 2 below him, he still showed that he was a problem for any DB that tried to guard him too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a better QB than the guy at number 4, and we had at number 4, Jamar Chase.
Absolutely.
He had Jake Brown in there throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, I said arguably top 3 wide receiver in the league, despite having a QB that's average or maybe below average quarterback play. He's still making impacts on the field.
Yeah, so I think that his argument for number 4 for me is the same as Justin Jefferson's for 1, is like what Dante said. He was so good without a quarterback. Going into next season, he's going to hopefully have Joe Burrow back at 100%. I know a lot of people saying that it might not be the ligament, but AJ Hawk, was that the injury that ended AJ Hawk's career?
AJ Hawk's? I believe not. I don't know.
He had the same injury because that's the dude that's on Pat McAfee, right?
He's a linebacker.
Yeah. He said he had the same injury, and what they do is they take the ligament from one hand to the other.
And
I don't know if that's what ended his career, but he said it wasn't like a...
Just for the fact of he's a linebacker. And
I'm sure it
some of those dudes
feel
play with the
good.
cast on. Yeah, it definitely.
But Joe Burrow takes one throw and stubs his thumb on a helmet. That's going to suck.
Yeah, wide receiver and quarterback, you need you need that.
But like I said, same argument as Justin Jefferson for number 4.
So y'all had Justin Jefferson at 4?
Yep.
No. Jamar Chase at 4. Yeah.
Sorry. The sips got to me.
It's all right.
I had AJ Brown at 4.
All right.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
You had AJ Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Jalen Hurts.
There you go.
Didn't have a phenomenal year by most people's standards, right?
Yeah,
Look at AJ Brown's stats. Not far behind CeeDee Lamb.
agreed.
If you look at Jake Browning's numbers, I think Jake Browning played a lot better than people are giving him credit for. The Bengals were realistically one game out of the playoffs. Realistically. They were one game out of the playoffs. I think Jake Browning exceeded a lot of expectations, and I think
He did.
Jamar Chase had the opportunity to still be the Jamar Chase we know he is with a backup quarterback. And I think A.J. Brown just delivered better. That's why I had him 4. But I understand having Jamar Chase at 4 as opposed to A.J. Brown. I get it. But that's why I had A.J. Brown at 4. I think with the quarterback play of both players, A.J. Brown was just better.
Yeah.
Just this last year. Not always, but.
I mean, just looking at my list, I think that 4 through 8 can be relatively interchangeable.
Okay.
I think once you get to like
Based
9,
off
10,
preference for the most
you can't
part.
put 9 or 10 at 4, but I think it's all like a who do you like more as a receiver?
Yeah, for sure.
Who do you love?
So who do we have at 5?
Well, Matt had someone else at number 4 too.
Who did he have at 4?
Amon-Ra.
I don't hate it.
And that's who we
That
have
is
as a
in my
collective.
top 8.
I was going to say that's who
He's
we have
my
as a
number
collective
5.
at number 5
I had him at 5.
is Amon-Ra.
He has rounded out our top 5.
Personally, I had Devontae Adams at number 5
What?
because I think
He slid for me.
Devontae Adams is a dog.
Me too.
Devontae Adams, similar to Jamar Chase, right? He was able to produce on the field with very average or below average QB play.
And I think his quarterback was actually worse than Jamar Chase's quarterback.
I believe, yeah, I agree.
I think it was worse.
Although he's like the oldest in the top 5 that we have, he's still able to take over games and cook your fucking favorite DB. So that's why I had Devontae. But
Jordan, you want to say where he slid to in your list real quick?
Yeah, he well, should we say it or should we wait till
we can
get
get to
there?
that.
Okay.
You can get to
We
it.
can
Okay.
get there.
Sorry, I'm a
but
little overzealous.
let's say when I said my top 8 is interchangeable, he was not there.
Yeah, mine either.
But yeah, I had Amon-Ra at 5. I love Amon-Ra's game. I love watching him play.
He can do
To
everything.
be honest, he's an exciting player to watch.
Yeah, he can do everything. He has no weakness to his game, if you ask me.
That's who you had as well.
I had him in the same spot too. Yeah, continue.
Matt did have Jamar Chase at 5, so he had the interchangeable of Amon-Ra and Jamar Chase back to back. Number 6 for Barbershop Break, and we have AJ Brown.
Is this Barbershop Break Room's list or Jordan from Barbershop Break Room's list? Because I have the top 6.
You have the exact top 6 in order.
Exact top 6.
Good work.
That's funny. So yeah, AJ Brown at 6. Personally, could be a little bit debatable here. I think it's very debatable. A lot of people might not like it. I got Mike Evans at number 6.
I had Jamar Chase at 6.
So Mike Evans, I put the king of 1,000 receiving yards.
He had Mike Evans somewhere crazy. Look at his face.
Did you?
He had him somewhere crazy.
It's all right,
He ain't
but
top 10.
I had Mike Evans.
Oh,
my god, I broke my chair.
I'm sorry. Wait, you did?
We'll get there. We'll
Okay,
get there.
I'm sorry. I got a little excited. Don't do it. don't do it.
So I had Mike Evans 6 because he's the king of 1K receiving yards, right?
He is.
Year after year after year. I wanted to put him originally when I made this. I think he was like 9 or 8, and I even wanted to put him higher on my list. But this is a receiver that every quarterback wants. He averaged 15.9 yards per reception, 1,255 yards. You probably couldn't hear it in the video, but
You can hear it.
I
Because the
don't know.
one time you said that same thing, you could hear what was going on. in
well,
the
if you
video.
couldn't hear it, there's a woman screaming outside we're on the 8th floor of a building. And you can hear a woman
all you
screaming.
heard was,
Yeah, that's all you can. That sounds like R2D2.
Where's the Goodyear blimp?
But basically, I said he averaged 15.9 yards per reception, basically 1,200 yards on 79 receptions, and he led the league in receiving touchdowns with Tyreek Hill. So that's why I had him at 6, but we as a collective has AJ Brown at 6.
Yeah, I like that. I like AJ Brown at
Yeah.
6.
I mean, you have him at 6. You're 6
I
for
have
6
AJ
right
Brown
now.
at 6. I'm
I
6
had him
for
at
6
four,
on it.
but-
So
Number 7, as a collective, Barbershop Breakum has Stephon Diggs
7 for 7.
at number 7. So maybe I just copied Jordan's list, and we're like, yeah, we'll make that the right
We were
one.
like, you know what? Jordan knows ball.
And number 7, this guy we already mentioned, he's already in the list. I had Amon-Ra.
That's where I had him as well.
Yeah.
That's a good number for
You
him.
got, damn, you guys are on it. Matt had let me go to it. Matt number 7 had Stephon Diggs as well. So I'm the only one without Stephon Diggs at number 7.
Where'd you have him at?
Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll shut up. Go ahead. Continue.
Number 8, as a collective, Barbershop Breakroom has Devontae Adams.
Ooh, and that's where my streak ends.
At number 8. Number 8, I had Dante's. Number 4, I had A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown at 8?
I had A.J. Brown at 8. I said one of the most talented and physical wide receivers in the NFL with a frame of 6'1", 225. He's not as physical as DK Metcalf, but he's a target for Hurts when he's in trouble and needs that deep threat to connect.
A.J. Brown at 8 is crazy work.
It's top 10.
Well, my 8 is a name that we haven't mentioned yet.
Uh-oh.
Don't say it then.
Let me hear it.
Go ahead, say it.
I had Puka Nacua at 8.
He had a good year.
So I had Mike Evans
He
at
had
8.
almost every receiving record for a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
He broke.
I mean, he
yeah.
had a
I think he
great
broke
year.
every single one.
So if you're looking at just last year going into next year, I think that he has a great debate to be a top 10.
Okay. I
have him at 8. I was between, he was like an 8, 9, 10. I couldn't figure out my 8, 9, 10.
Matt, number 8, he had Devontae Adams, so he matched ours. Number 9, Barbershop Break, and we had Mike Evans at number 9. Probably to help with me putting him at 6, probably boosted him up
Yeah.
a
And
decent
me
amount.
dragging him down.
Yeah, Jordan
Yeah.
might have dragged him down a little bit. I mean, we can.
We'll get to where I have him.
Okay, we'll get to where
You still don't have him like anywhere near what we're talking about?
So he's close, but for number 9, I had Devontae Adams.
Okay.
9 is Puka for me.
I think Devontae's a better receiver than Mike Evans.
I had Puka at 9 because I'm a firm believer on.
Who's a better receiver than Mike Evans? Devontae?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
him higher than.
Well, you guys remember our previous video about the blind statistics, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was those two. It was those two.
Just asking.
Yeah.
Because I had Mike Evans
You
above.
can't
Devontae.
fact check what our opinions are. They change all the time.
Facts. We just be going back and forth.
We just be
Skip
saying
Skip
shit.
Bayless style.
I had Puka 9 because I'm one of those guys that like I like to see you do things more than once, like 1 year. So like I didn't expect CJ2K to have 2,000 yards 2 times to be like, oh, he's that guy.
Yep.
But like you do something once, I want to see you keep that same sort of trajectory for me to believe that's who you
Like
are.
a CJ Stroud.
Yeah, because exactly. Like I want to see one more year out of CJ.
Yep.
I think he's a great quarterback, but we have a lot of 1-year wonders in sports.
Yep.
Because we did a video on the greatest 1-year wonders, and there are guys
Josh Gordon,
who
the greatest ever of all time.
explode and then boom, never see him again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Josh Gordon, for example. So that's why I had Puka a little lower because I just want to see it one more time.
Number 9, Matt had Garrett Wilson.
He crazy.
So he did have Garrett Wilson, number 9. Number 9, I had Stephon Diggs.
There are
So-
almost 9 spots between where he had Garrett and where I have
Really?
Garrett. You
That's
literally.
insane.
Where do you have him?
He's coming up.
Wow.
So, okay. Here, I had Stephon Diggs at 9.
Garrett
I
that
didn't go
high?
through it, but
Okay, continue.
we can move on to the next one. I only put Stephon Diggs this kind of high still, just for the fact of he's still going to have Tank Dell and he's going to have Nico Collins. So
Mhm.
that put him a little lower on my list with the expectations with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think he's still a great receiver, but I think his productivity is going to go down.
Yeah,
A little
because of
bit
who's
more.
around him.
But number 10 now, Barbershop Break Room, we got one of the best rookies ever, Puka Nacua, at number 10. Number 10 I had here, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Dante's like, that guy that high? Garrett Wilson I put at number 10.
Damn.
And the reason I put Garrett Wilson at 10,
So I think I'm going to get where he is, probably right.
yeah. So Garrett Wilson, I put at 10 here because I said this is the first guy on the list where the stats don't jump out at you, right? Wilson has been one of the most skilled and talented wide receivers in the NFL. The only problem for him is that he
Quarterback
had
play.
Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mike White, Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle throwing him the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
With that list, he was still able to have 1,000 yards over 1,000 yards in both of his NFL seasons.
10, I had Brandon Ayuk.
Okay.
Well, I have
I think-
Devontae at 10.
I think Ayuk had a great season last season going into now this season. I know that he's been complaining. We don't know if he'll hold out, but I think that he's the 10th best wide receiver in the NFL.
I like Brandon Ayuk. I think he's a great receiver. We'll talk about where I have him. I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. I have Garrett Wilson at 17.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I have all your guys' lists in front of me. So it's when I was doing the whole list, it was cool to see where you guys
Yeah.
put certain players at.
Yeah, listen, I love Garrett Wilson. I'm going to start by saying I love him. I think he's a great receiver, and I think once he has a consistent quarterback, hopefully Aaron Rodgers can be that for him for at least the next 2 seasons. But as far as what he does great compared to some of these other guys, I think he's a little bit under them. And then productivity does also matter because I have also seen some of these guys on this same list do what he did more with a quarterback similar. I mean, you look at Justin Jefferson's quarterbacks. Are they much better than Zach Wilson?
Kirk?
Kirk?
He had him for 2 games. I'm talking about this past season.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
He had him for 2 games.
Okay.
Maybe 3. But Kirk got
Kirk
got hurt early.
Yeah, Dobbs, Jaron Hall, and Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins.
Those are the
Okay.
three, right?
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if you look at some of these quarterbacks that these dudes had, you're like, are these dudes really that good?
Similar, yeah, I agree. Similar to the Jets.
Because Zach Wilson showed flashes some days.
You might take Zach Wilson over a couple of those dudes.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, Aiden O'Connell. Is he that much better than Zach Wilson?
I don't know. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just look at what some of these dudes did, and I'm like, Garrett is great. He can't go that high for me.
It's based off talent instead of stats for him for the most part.
He's not. And there's somebody I have right with him. And we'll
Similar
talk about
situation.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Number 10 for Matt. Matt had DJ Moore. With
That's high.
that's our top 10.
a
Barbershop
little
Break Room's top 10.
A little high.
So that's our top 10. So far, you guys watching, put your top 10 in the comments below. Number 11 for Barbershop Break Room, we had Dante Don't Like It, Garrett Wilson at number 11.
And that's back on track, baby. I had him there too.
Yeah, personally, I had Puka Nacua at 11. I thought you were about to take off the headset and walk off for a second.
Nah, I had to
That's why I laughed.
It's killing my ears.
I had Puka at 11. We kind of went over it. One of the greatest rookies. We still have to see, him produce. So he's near the top 10 for me.
I had Garrett Wilson 11. I think with Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be one of the premier wide receivers in the NFL. I could honestly see him finishing in the top 10 in yards, in the top 10 in touchdowns of all receivers in the NFL next year.
Maybe I'm sleeping on him. Brandon Ayuk.
Okay, so Jordan had him at what, 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to back for Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk.
Matt, he had Mike Evans here at 11. So number 12 for us, who I had here as well, is DJ Moore. So we have DJ Moore at number 12. I mean, athletic freak on the football field. He's a receiver that can do everything. Still yet to be a Pro Bowler. I think he's still the top wide receiver in the NFL.
12, Mike Evans. So
That's not far off. I mean,
he was right there. When I was looking at the list, I rewrote this list probably 7 or 8 times.
Oh,
if I'm being
sure
honest,
we all
I
did.
looked at
me
it
too.
and I just was like,
I'm still not
Next
comfortable with my
season-
list.
next season, do I want this guy more than this guy? I personally
Yeah.
trust Aaron Rodgers over Baker Mayfield. That's more of my decision on like when I was looking
I don't think
between
anyone's gonna
11
argue
and
with that.
12. That's why he ended up in 12.
Yeah, no.
Now,
one's
the other guys' quarterbacks, I might not trust more. I trust them as a player more.
Okay.
I don't know. The way my thought
Damn,
process
you don't
worked
trust
on
Mike
it was-
Evans?
I trust him. He's a
I'm kidding.
1,000-yard guy, but
A guy that I don't really like, but
Damn, all right.
he produces, though. But DK Metcalf.
Okay.
that's crazy.
Listen, if you look at his numbers, he's actually produced pretty well. And, like, listen, Geno had you wrote me off. I didn't write back. But, like, Geno's not that good. Like, he's not.
Yes and no. I mean, the last couple years, he's proved to be a
Game
little
manager.
bit above average quarterback the 1 year.
He's a game manager.
And then last year,
Yeah, he's a game manager. And I think DK Metcalf, for his physical appearance, if you go through his vitals, 6'4", I think
You
he's
love that word.
230 pounds. I know, because the one dude told me I was wrong,
the
and I was right.
Darius Garland.
Yeah, bro. I was right the whole time. I
Like it's
played
vital
2K.
for me.
Yeah.
I played 2K.
I think he's 6'4", 230 plus pounds. It's like, I'm not expecting you to be Megatron, but like,
Mapletron?
Mapletron.
he
Did he
fumbles a
make your
lot
list?
too, and he goes crazy and hits people and be smacking people and stuff.
Well, that's
So,
kind of what you want a little bit in a player.
I don't like him that much, but yeah, he was 12 for me. Move
Okay.
on to the next guy.
Well, who did Matt have at 12?
He had Puka Nacua, so similar range as us. Number 13, you guys already said this guy, Brandon Ayuk at number 13 as a collective. Number 13, I had Nico Collins at 13.
Wow.
And this is my reasoning. Nico proved himself last year. As CJ's number 1, Nico lit up the NFL with improved route running and explosive plays down the field. That sounds like a very generic answer. He averaged 16.2 yards per reception.
So you had him, what number?
13.
So
And listen to this. Because,
Oh, wow.
listen, he was on a team to where he didn't have a quarterback that really could use him. He had Davis Mills. And like I said, he averaged 16.2 yards per reception. The tricky part is now, for this, I had Diggs. Since Diggs is out of the roster, how much of that change his targets and his production? I could see a reason him being a little lower just for the fact
I was
of
going to say Diggs
production and
being
everything
on
like-
the team now drove him down my list a little bit.
Okay, so that's the part to where I didn't know. If Diggs wasn't on the team, I have no problem with him at 13.
Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you why I have Nico Collins because, wow, talk about a gap bigger than mine.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Who'd you have at 13?
DJ Moore.
Okay.
Just got to see it again. He had a great year last year with not great quarterback play. I would like to see it again, though.
Okay. At 13, I had Michael Pittman. I think he's a solid all-around wide receiver. He's going to catch it when you need him to. I'm probably high on him compared to other people. I like him a lot.
Matt, at number 13, Matt had Chris Olave. So if you didn't like Garrett Wilson, you won't like Chris Olave at 13.
He loves his Ohio State.
Chris Olave, talk about a gap, might be the biggest gap you can have in this list for me.
We'll move on to number 14 as a group. We had Keenan Allen at number 14 as a group. Personally, I had Brandon Ayuk there.
I have Debo there, his teammate.
So that was the problem with Brandon Ayuk. I didn't know. It's hard to rank wide receivers when they have another great player right beside him. Along with Ayuk, I mean, look at that damn offense he's on.
Yeah,
like
it's tough.
It's pretty tough to rank that.
I mean, even
is he doing that anywhere else? You don't
exclude Debo. He has Kittle. He has McCaffrey. There's a lot of weapons on that.
Jennings is a dog.
Yeah, it's tough to look at him and be like,
yeah.
So I had Ayuk at 14. We had Keenan Allen.
I had Keenan Allen at 14.
Damn, Jordan has been hitting. The Jordan has been hitting on like a lot of these.
I honestly think that if he was still in LA, he might have been higher on my list. I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be that generational quarterback everybody thinks he is, so doesn't help his case on where he's at.
Okay, I get that. I mean, if he's the guy he says he is, then Keenan Allen will still perform. But I had Keenan Allen 15, so not far from where you guys have.
At number 14, Matt, he had Michael Pittman at number 14. So we'll move on to 15 as a group. Number 15, we had DK Metcalf. Personally, this is when I put Debo Samuel at. So I had Brandon Ayuk and Debo back to back just because I had no fucking clue where to put them.
It's gonna be pretty crazy when I tell you who I have at 15.
And I mean, the reason why I put Debo there, similar to the Ayuk situation, they're in that offense. Debo does a little more for that offense working because he plays running back a little bit. He can play multiple different positions. Ayuk, mainly just receiver. He's never in the backfield. So that's the reason why I had Debo at 15, but we had DK at 15 as a collective.
That's where I had Keenan, but
I had DJ Moore, Keenan Allen's teammate. So I had Keenan Allen 14, DJ Moore 15.
I mean, they're all around that 13 to 15 area.
I prefer Keenan Allen as a wide receiver over DJ Moore, obviously barring injury and shit like that. I tried not to factor that in because we can't say they're going to get hurt next year.
I mean, we put Justin Jefferson at 1, 2.
Yeah.
He was hurt.
The same reason as Keenan Allen. I don't know Caleb Williams coming in. Still have Matt Eberflus. We'll have to see how Caleb Williams performs in that system. We'll see.
Number 15, Matt had Nico Collins there. So I had Nico at 13, so I don't feel as bad with Matt putting Nico at 15. So we'll move to 16 here. As a group, we had Nico Collins at number 16. So I kind of just covered that a little bit right there. Number 16, I had Cooper Kupp. Who'd you have it at 16?
16 for me, I had Nico Collins.
Okay. So Jordan's like fucking 10 for 16 so far.
Dropped from the Stephon Diggs. I think that brought him down for me a little bit.
Which I didn't have a problem with.
Great receiver, but you're bringing in a guy that's a diva that's going to complain about not getting the ball. So you're going to get less touches, less catches, but I still think that he's one of the best top 25, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, I have Chris Olave there.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. 16, Matt had DK Metcalf at 16. Close enough to Dante there. We'll move to number 17. As a group, we had Michael Pittman Jr. 17, this is where I had Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's already on the list for us, but I had Keenan Allen at 17. It's hard to rank two good wide receivers when they're on the same damn team. It's like, where do you put them?
Yeah. I have an enemy in that position.
Oh,
an enemy.
I think we know who that is.
Amari Cooper, I have him at 17. Great route runner. He's better, in my opinion, than the rest of the guys on the list. And yes,
I'm proud of you.
There's a name that we haven't heard that is not an enemy that we argue about. Amari Cooper's better.
Okay.
He is better. He is.
Okay.
Maybe after next season when we redo this, he won't be. But as of right now, he's better.
Who do you have at 17?
Garrett Wilson. I think Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, they are pretty similar.
So you're taking Olave over Garrett then?
Yeah. I think Chris Olave is slightly better than Garrett Wilson. Not by much. I mean, you can be mad at me for that. Some Ohio State guys might agree, disagree.
Yeah.
I think they're both really good receivers, but as far as Chris Olave's production alongside of Garrett Wilson's, they both had pretty inconsistent quarterback play. I put Chris Olave just one spot above Garrett Wilson.
Matt, I think here he had Keenan Allen here at 17.
He tripping.
So, I mean, me and him both had Keenan Allen at 17. So, at least we're both tripping together. We'll move to 18 as a group. And this is Matt's and Jordan's enemy that they say. Amari Cooper at 18 as a group. Personally, I had actually Amari Cooper at 18, which is funny. I think he's a fucking dog. He averaged 17.4 yards per reception, which is still pretty insane to think about. Compared to the other dudes that we had ranked higher than him, he averaged more per reception than them.
I think I messed up.
Yeah, go.
I got Devontae Smith at 18.
All right.
Slim Reaper.
All right.
I just spit on my mic something
Slim
crazy.
Jesus.
Slim Reaper. He's a dog, bro. He's little as hell.
He is.
He's like
He's as big as me.
Hendricks.
Yeah.
So at 18, I had Cooper Kupp. I think Puka Nacua is a better receiver than him. It's kind of the same thing with the two
And the injury
two
thing.
good receivers.
And the injury
like
thing
I said,
put
I'm
me-
trying not to factor
Yeah.
injuries in.
Injury
but
made me put him down a little bit.
I think Puka's better than him. Cooper Kupp is still obviously won the Triple Crown, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's still a great receiver.
As a
I think
white
that
guy.
Puka being there is going to take some of his shine away. That drops him for me. But
Absolutely.
that's who I
No
had at
glove
18.
Puka. Matt, this is when his favorite wide receiver comes in at number 18. He had George Pickens at 18, in which that's the highest placement of George Pickens between all four of us. With that, we'll move to 19. We have Deebo Samuel as a group. I had DK Metcalf here.
Me
So
too.
you did too?
Yep.
So I put DK. I put the most physical wide receiver in the game. I don't think that's arguable. He's not afraid of anyone on the football field, and he has a great reason not to be. One of the biggest wide receivers in the game with insane speed, similar to Josh Gordon in his prime.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. All right, Dante, who'd you have? man?
I got Michael Pittman, but I'm gonna be honest. I think I just started doing stuff at the end of my list because I'm looking at my list and I'm like,
You're just putting shit. You're like, fuck, I got to get this list done. As I go on the list, my personal list, I'm like, I don't know if I want this guy here or this guy there. You had Michael Pittman at 19.
yeah,
All right. Matt, he had Brandon Ayuk at 19.
That's a pretty big gap from where I had him.
So yeah, I had Brandon Ayuk a little higher. So with that, we'll move to 20. Another white guy, Cooper Kupp, is number 20 for us as a whole. I have this guy that I put at 20, the second highest ranked. I had George Pickens there at number 20. I think it's higher than both of you guys.
I had him there too.
You had him there at 20?
I got him at 23.
Okay.
I have him at 20.
In my reasoning for Pickens at 20, I was like, Pickens is a hard one to rank. I mean, like he has sparks throughout the season, but never consistent with his production. Is that because of Matt Canada's offense? Is that because of quarterback play?
But I mean, when you look at his ceiling, you're like, wow, his ceiling is like, he could be a top 10 quarterback in 5 years.
yeah.
But his floor is like, are you going to fucking catch
And I
it?
think when I was researching this, I think he's definitely one of the highest yards per reception, 18.1.
He's a deep threat guy.
18.1 yards per reception. That's insane to think about.
I mean, when I look at even now, the guys that I have below him, I don't think that any of them are better than him. There's an argument for the next guy, but
I just want to see a better route tree from the guy.
You just think he's just a deep threat and that's it? That's all he got?
I don't want to
A
call him a
one-trick
one-trick pony because I've seen him do slants and stuff, but like I would like to see him
Couple
get
of
a little
slants
bit
and
wetter.
stuff.
I would rather see him do a little bit more route running.
he's been working with the route god in the offseason, so we'll see.
We'll see.
This is where Matt, we're talking about number 20. He had Amari Cooper here at number
He's
20.
such a hater.
Yeah, he is.
Did he have Ayuk at 20?
He had
Was
Ayuk
it
at
Pickens,
19.
Ayuk, then Amari? in his
Pickens,
list?
Ayuk, Amari. Yeah.
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 He's so crazy.
He did that
bro.
just because of our
Yeah,
argument.
he
Yeah,
did. He's
absolutely.
he got to be consistent. That's all.
So we'll move that 21. We have as a group Chris Olave at 21. He might not even be this high if it wasn't for Matt
And me.
and you.
Yeah.
At number
Me and you might have him at the same spot.
we might maybe. Personally, I 21 I had Devontae Smith. Like I said, it's hard to rank wide receivers when they have a true number one. That's a dog.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
AJ Brown's a top 10 receiver and you have Devontae Smith. It's hard to rank Devontae.
almost all these guys that are at the end of my list have somebody above, like a second receiver. Even if it's not somebody above them, they have somebody with them.
Yeah, there's
That's good.
there's only two of my guys in my last 5 that don't have another guy with them.
With them, yeah.
Yeah, there's only 2.
I mean, I had Devontae here because I was like being paired up with AJ Brown is gonna help you get open and draw some great plays for you.
Okay.
Um,
yeah, I get that.
And he was consistent the last 3 seasons, so he's in my top 25.
Yeah, I had Jalen Waddle here.
Okay.
I have Cooper Kupp
Um,
here. Can't stay on the field.
Yeah,
That hurts me.
Jalen Waddle. I think he's a phenomenal receiver, but Tyreek Hill takes a lot of his touches away.
Number 2 receiver in the NFL in our ranking. It's hard to not rank a wide receiver that was injured because you kind of want to take the injury away. But
I tried
as he's hurt
to
so
look
much
past it.
off and on, it's hard to not take that into accountability of just
Right.
being on the field.
Right.
Him and Matt both have Cooper Kupp at 21. Number 22, as a group, George Pickens. This is where I had Jalen Waddle. So
I was about to say, he ain't better than Jalen Waddle. I got Jalen Waddle there.
I had Jalen Waddle behind George Pickens.
I got Jalen Waddle before George Pickens.
So I had
they're like
Jalen
20
Waddle,
and 21 for me.
and similar to kind of what Jordan said, I wrote it down on here. I said similar to Devontae Smith. Waddle's paired up with one of the best wide receivers in football. Like that's gonna take an effect on can he actually do it without someone
Right.
having the whole defense focused on them.
Right.
I have Deebo Samuel there. I think last year
I'm not mad at it.
Deebo had a down year, and if we're just going not career stats, not overall player, just last year into this year, Debo had a down year, man. Brandon Ayuk's the better receiver on that team as of right now to me.
Not gonna argue that. Not arguing that
I'm
at
not.
all.
I'm not mad at it, but I did have Debo. Debo high as shit.
Me too. Versatility was big for me.
Yeah,
I didn't factor that in, I guess.
yeah. The running back and
I was
playing-
looking
yeah.
more at like
just the receiving stats.
when you're out
Yeah.
catching the ball.
Who'd you have at 22? You said.
Jalen Waddle.
Okay, so we both have Jalen Waddle at 22.
Yep.
Matt at 22. This is where he had Devontae Smith. So
Okay.
close enough. Number 23 for us, Devontae Smith.
Wow.
I had Chris Olave at 23.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
had Chris Olave really low. I put another great receiver with QB play, similar to Pickens. I don't know where to rank him. It's hard to rank Olave with not great production.
This is where I have Pickens, and I think Olave is a better receiver than Pickens too.
You think Olave is a better receiver than George Pickens?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
So I got a name that we haven't said yet at 23. And I think that I overlooked him going to a new team. But quarterback might
spark him up.
be slinging. Let's say that.
Say it.
Calvin Ridley.
Oh, he didn't make my top 25.
I have him at 23.
He didn't make my top 25.
He did not make
He
my
did go
top
to the
25
Titans, right?
either.
Yeah, he did.
Came off the injury and he had a great year last year. I don't have his stats, but I know he had a good year. I think he's better than Chris Olave for sure.
Okay. Wow. Olave slander.
Yeah, a lot of people have Olave low besides you and Matt. Well, just me and Jordan, actually.
Right.
So. With that 23, he had Terry McLaurin. Matt did.
Didn't make
So
my
he
25
had
either.
Scary
Didn't
Terry.
make mine. So I feel like our last
He didn't
three,
make-
we're gonna have some guys that didn't make other people.
Well, I was going to say my 5 is
Yeah.
somebody you guys already mentioned.
Um,
My 25.
So we'll move to 24, right? That's where we're at.
Yep.
Number 24.
Yep.
As a group, this is where we have Jalen Waddle.
Wow. I have D-Hop here.
Jesus.
You guys might hate me. This is where I had Michael Pittman
Crazy.
at number 24.
Don't even give me an explanation. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
that's
talk
kind
about
of
it.
insane.
I don't want to talk about it. Don't give me an explanation.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it.
All right.
I don't.
I had Devontae Smith here.
Did
I-
DeAndre Hopkins make your top 25, anybody?
Yes.
Okay. So he's 25 for you.
Yes.
Okay, so who is our 25? To spoil it.
Well,
We're tied,
let me-
actually.
Let me say who I had there.
What, at 24?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it. I'm sorry.
No, I mean I did. I have Devontae Smith, but
Yeah, you tripping.
who
I'm
did we
sorry.
have at 25? Did you do like the 25 A, B, C, or whatever? That
I
you
just
were
did
kinda
25. There's 3 people that are quote unquote tied for 25 then. Before Matt at 24 had Debo Samuel. And then I'll say Matt at 25 put Deontay Johnson.
He. Go ahead. Who's our
doing? He's
25?
a Panther now. He's not front running.
No.
And
I don't even want to. No, I'm not doing
You know
that.
why
No.
Matt put him at
Yeah, bro,
25.
I'm not doing
He's
that.
like, I just got to add.
Yeah, I'm
Matt
not
actually
doing
gave us 26 receivers. At 26, he put Jalen Waddle
Okay. He's
behind
Okay.
Johnson. And
Who's 25
Yeah.
for us, man? No way.
25, we have a 3-way tie here. So we got DeAndre Hopkins, Scary Terry, and Calvin Ridley.
I have Nico Collins here.
At 25.
Wow.
I had 25.
I have D-Hop here at 25.
I have Chris Olave at 25.
Woo!
Yeah, so Chris Olave is your last one.
Our 25th was crazy.
Who was your 25?
Nico Collins.
Nico Collins. And Matt's was Deontay Johnson. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had Chris Olave here just because I feel like he's just not. It might be me playing into like the flashiness and stuff of receivers, but when's the last time that you're like watching highlights and there's Chris Olave? Like,
He plays for the Saints, brother. Garbo.
yeah, but bad players or good players on bad teams have highlights. Christian
Hey.
McCaffrey had highlights on the Panthers when they sucked.
Look at his numbers.
I'm
compared to
sure
Garrett
he has good
Wilson's.
numbers. He's one of them like sneaky guys. Though.
Look at his numbers compared to Garrett
He's
Wilson.
probably
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but then when I look at those two, I look at the eye test and I look at the team. I think the Saints have had a better team
No.
offensively.
No.
You don't think Derek Carr is better than Zach Wilson?
You don't think Alvin Kamara was better than Brees Hall throughout the years with Olave?
First off, Olave's only been in the league 2 years. Alvin Kamara has been suspended for 6 games of the first season. This season, and he was hurt last season.
I'm taking Taysom Hill, a tight end running back over.
Thank
any
you
of the
guys
other
for
dudes.
tuning in to
Well,
our
we gotta run
top
down our list
25
one last
receivers.
time.
Do we? I
Yeah.
gotta go.
We'll run it down just real
We
quick.
could go.
I'll just list 1 to 25. So our top 25 NFL wide receivers, barbershop break rooms. 1, Justin Jefferson. 2, Tyreek Hill. 3, CeeDee Lamb. 4, Jamar Chase. Amon-Ra St. Brown is 5. A.J. Brown, 6. Number 7 is Stephon Diggs. Number 8, Devontae Adams. 9, Mike Evans. 10, Puka Nacua. Number 11, Garrett Wilson. DJ Moore at 12. Brandon Ayuk at 13. 14 is Keenan Allen. 15, DK Metcalf. 16, Nico Collins. 17, Michael Pittman. 18, you got Amari Cooper. Then you got Deebo Samuel at 19. Number 20 is Cooper Kupp. 21, Chris Olave. George Pickens at 22. Devontae Adams 23, Jalen Waddle 24, and a three-way tie at number 25 with DeAndre Hopkins, Scary Terry, and Calvin Ridley. So take some time in the comments. Put your top 25 if you have time. It's a lot of fucking time to
Give us
look
your
up
top
people.
10.
At least give us your top 10. Argue who you have where and who do you think's a better player. So until next time, peace.